Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Friday. I'm not super well prepared today, but we'll do Q&A, I think, and we'll see where things go. Couple of quick updates. Not so good news. They pushed back free kits to the mid-November. We were told they're going to start giving them in the late September. Now, Federal Trade Commission is saying, nope, that's going to get to you in sort of late, starting November 20th. So that's unfortunate. However, if you still have if you still have old kids that are expired, I highly recommend to use them. So don't necessarily toast them out. Chances are they're still okay. This is the link to the new advertisement about the new date. Now, they may keep pushing the dates back, hopefully not, but it is 4 kids per household. I mentioned last time how to get more than 4. You simply need to mention different people with different last names. So you could say that there's different families living at the same address. They're not going to check. You're going to get more than 4 kids. Now, I didn't tell you that, although it's getting recorded, so I think I may get screwed. But anyway, that's the point. So I don't have any new updates on vaccines except to say that they're all here. Lots of more people getting vaccinated. If you haven't gotten yours, now is the time, because as you know, I do advocate strongly to getting a flu vaccine if you're over 65, somewhere in the mid-October or even sooner. And remember, we want to space vaccines at least a couple of weeks apart, preferably closer to 3 or 4 weeks. So if you have not gotten the COVID yet and you want to do the sort of right spacing, you're already going to start pushing your flu vaccine all the way to the kind of late October, you're getting some risk. No, so the COVID is actually beginning to slow down. There hasn't been a continuous rise in the last couple of weeks, thank God. We're seeing kind of a stable situation with some states going a little bit up, but some states going a little bit down. I think the DMV situation is simply kind of flat. I'm hoping that actually that's a good sign, because it should probably mean that we should start seeing a little bit of a drop. We're in a kind of a perfect weather situation, as you all see. So, and there's no expectation that the weather is going to kind of spike up and down majorly in the next couple of weeks. So I think a lot of people going out, it's neither too cold or too hot, meaning that spending time outside is a lot easier than, let's say, when it's too hot or too cold. So I think we're probably going to see a slowdown and drop before some potential second peak, or as usual, the winter peak. Now they call it the summer peak and the winter peak. So that's that. That's all in terms of updates on the news. I want to see what the questions are first. Should those of us with long COVID get? Okay, great question. So yes, I think you should. And I will tell you a couple of interesting anecdote cases, stories here. I had several patients, one with long COVID and one with pretty bad COPD, claim substantial improvement of symptoms after the COVID booster. We have seen this before. In fact, I would say about 2 years ago, we had this scenario where we were recommending patients with long COVID to all patients with long COVID to get boosters, because there was some idea that percentage of patients with long COVID will improve after a COVID vaccine. You would think, wait a second, that's counterintuitive. Shouldn't they get worse? Well, that's the problem. So some patients improved and some patients gotten worse. And that's why we stopped advocating for the booster as a treatment of long COVID. So there's no such thing. But if you haven't had a COVID in, I don't know, let's say a year or more, and you have a long COVID, I think it's actually quite important to go get it, because we all know that if and when you get another COVID, if you have long COVID, chances are you're going to get a major worsening, unfortunately. And that chance is much, much higher than if you have no long COVID. So the chances of long COVID after any COVID attack, if you have never had it before, is probably at about 5% now. But if you already have long COVID and then you get a COVID on top of it, your chances of now worsening is I would probably say maybe close to 50%. So the idea that then getting a vaccine as a prevention of further long COVID becomes much more important for patients who have long COVID, for patients who don't have long COVID. So I think that's a critical question, and thanks for bringing that up. Okay, Cecile's question. I get my COVID test kits from DC Public Library. You still can do that? I thought they ran out months ago, if not like 12 months ago. I thought they're long gone. You may have, Cecile, I think you may have wanted to say you've gotten your tests from DC Public Library.
They had tests as recently as 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Really?
At West End. And I've heard that
well, everybody run over there, because they probably don't bother checking the any ID, right? Or they do. They look for DC.
Let me verify it, and I'll send you an email that you could send out. But so far as I know, you just walk in. So I'll let you know.
Because we checked our local library in Tacoma Park, and they said, what are you talking about? We ran out many months ago. So it's possible that some locations still have some free kits laying around. That's the case, absolutely. Everybody go get your free kits, because they're charging. We had to go and get, when Angela got sick last week, so we had to go to CVS. We paid for the cheapest kits. It was $16 for a pack of 2.
I'm of an age where I'm starting to forget things, but I think I'm right. So I will go today and then email you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I have another question that I haven't written to you. The RSV vaccine, or whatever you call the shot that we got several months ago, should we get another one, or just the one is good for life?
No, it's not going to be probably good for life, but it's going to be at least for the whole season, like a flu and COVID. Question is at what frequency those shots will be given. It's not really clear yet. I mean, I'm expecting they're going to start advocating for an annual RSV shot. So RSV is similar to COVID and similar to the flu, pretty rapidly mutating virus. So it simply tells you that, unfortunately, it's not in the cards to have a one shot last for a long time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does not. Okay, well. All right. So yeah, that's because it's a virus. Now, in contrast, since you brought this up, pneumonia vaccine is a very long lasting, because it's a bacterial infection, and usually bacteria doesn't mutate as fast, and strains, they do mutate, but they change pretty slowly, and generally the vaccine will last for years. Some pneumonia vaccines are thought to last for life. So okay, I'll move on to the. So yes, is the flirt vaccine a booster? Yeah, it's a booster. I mean, we call it flirt because it's just the current strain called flirt, but it's really the Omicron variant, or it's a sub-variant of Omicron. It's a sub-variant of Omicron variant of the COVID. So yeah, so it's a COVID booster. Flu vaccines are not mRNA. They're older vaccine technology. They're divided in 2 categories, since you asked that. So there's a high potency, which everybody over 65 recommended to get, and there's a standard potency. The only thing I'll tell you is, when you go get it, please try to get the one that does not come from multi-vial source. Ask them to get a high potency single vial. When you go to the CVS, they won't ask you. They'll just give you a shot. So why is it important? Because multi-vials that are not pediatrics, they all have mercury in them. You're going to get 25 microgram of mercury salt, organic salt, which, it's not a lot in the context of things, but you don't want it if you can avoid it. The way to avoid it is ask for single vial. Why do they use multi-vial? Of course, it's just a cost issue. Multi-vials are cheaper, but the cost of the way this billing is structured is the same. So you're gonna get it covered under Medicare rule if you're over 65. Just, it doesn't really matter whether it's a multi or non-multi or single vial. Each pharmacy is gonna get paid for it. Good question. Thanks so much. Kathy asking, do you have any update on whether you should say, okay. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't have any new updates. I still stratify people over 65. If you have no lung problems, if you're relatively healthy, I actually don't recommend RSV vaccine. Not yet. I want to be more conservative. I want to wait for a few seasons, for a few years to see what happens. I am a little sort of apprehensive. We are definitely seeing higher risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome with the RSV specifically. It's not clear why that is the case. So Guillain-Barré is something called ascending paralysis, where your body starts to become paralyzed from the toes up. Usually it's a self-resolving condition, but not always. Sometimes it becomes long-standing nightmarish problem, which, by the way, brings me up to remember I told you I will be screening the horizon for new problems. Well, guess what? There's a new virus. If you just Google new virus causing ascending paralysis, just don't fall out of chair, please, not yet. And who knows whether but it's something called enterovirus D68. It's becoming a concern, to the point that at this point, US government and CDC has taken this virus into, I guess they would call it a virus of a concern, or the new emerging disease of the concern. I think that's the wording. So I'm just going to put something I just quickly found right now. But I've been tracking this for a while. There have been about a dozen cases in the US. In contrast to Guillain-Barré, which is almost always resolving, this disease is not resolving. It's a permanent paralysis. It's kind of like polio. It's not clear how it's going to spread or what significance of this is, and will this ever become a serious problem? So we'll keep an eye on this. But I thought I would bring this up anyway. So thanks. It turned out that I brought it up in a nice conjunction with GBS from RSV vaccines. Now, I will just put it in context so you don't freak out. If you're planning on getting RSV vaccine, there's still the risk of GBS is tiny, right? It's just much higher than with other vaccines, but risks from vaccines are so small in the first place that, whether it's, let's put it this way, if you have 1 in a million versus 1 in 100,000, it may be tenfold elevation, but it's still 1 in 100,000 that you will get it. Now, of course, good luck telling that to a person who's 1 out of 100,000 who did get it. For them, that's irrelevant. But still, the risk is pretty small. And I don't remember what the actual number is. It's not 1 in 100,000. It's something like 1 in 10,000. So it's tiny. It's definitely tiny. All right, let's move on. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. You guys really active today. What's up with that? I love it. All right. No weird questions. So please don't feel that question is weird. Okay. Weird-ish question. Okay. Are people who have recently had COVID and therefore likely temporarily immune capable of being carriers? Well, that's not a weird question. It's a great question. In other words, should we mask around everyone when we're inside, or are we safe? Okay. So the general CDC statement, which my opinion of their statement, right? They basically saying, if you have no symptoms the day after you contracted COVID, you're not contagious. I'm not kidding. Go on and look it up. That's what they're saying. That is total nonsense. I think the original statement that if within 10 days after the day you tested positive, you completely symptom-free, there is zero risk of transmission. I think that's been proven and proven again. It's a lot harder question, Elisa, what to do with the people who, let's say, 5, 6, 7 days after, still sneezing, still coughing, still maybe having low-grade fever, but feeling a lot better. I will tell you on a personal notice, I've had several friends whom I literally yelled, badly yelled, being really pissed, who would tell me, oh, I'm on day 3, I'm fine because CDC says fine. I'm going to go and whatever, and I'm going to infect a bunch of people, and I'm not going to infect a bunch of people because CDC tells me I'm not going to infect. And I would just say, what the hell? And I think that's actually in part why we had this bad spike, is because people were just not, previously we were all very self-conscious, or whatever, however you want to think of this. We were conscious of the fact that we need to be careful, right? If we're contracted, it, common sense, mask up, don't go into public places, even with the mask, just stay until you're fully that's all gone. I mean, I've had one friend in Boston area who contracted, felt bad for a day, stayed in bed. The next day, she had dance class she had to teach, and she went and taught it without a mask. And I was like, what the? She's like, well, yeah, I have no symptoms anymore. CDC cleared me. I'm like, and she was still testing positive. So you could think of it this way also. If you're testing positive, symptoms are not gone, well, you're contagious. I mean, you don't need to be, a genius or, to sort of figure that out, right? So you could use, if you're going to a function, this is how I would face it, because I think that's what Elisa's sort of key concern in the question is. Let's say I'm on day 5, right? And I'm mostly feeling better, but I still have some residual symptoms. Let's say I have a function to attend, and I know that if I wear the mask in that function, people are gonna look at me funny. Let's just pretend. I mean, let's be realistic and be brutally honest, because this happens all the time, right? You go to some small group, if you come in masked, they're gonna freak out, and maybe it's worse than not masking. If you don't, this is when I would use another test. And if I would come back, test would come back negative, I'd say, okay, I'm okay. If test comes back positive, I'd say 2 choices. Either you just cancel your attendance, or you look into what the situation is. If the situation is you're going to the function outside and you can sit somewhere far from people and you can sort of hope you're not going to be being too close to everybody else, maybe that's okay. But generally, that's how I would think about it. All right, Lisa, is that good enough? So, yeah. Now, the long COVID, there's of course this concern that's been circulating left and right, that is there some proportion of long COVID patients who are still actually carrying the virus, live virus? I would say no. There may be some individual cases. It's unlikely that those people are contagious, because remember, in order to be contagious, your immune system should not have checked the virus. What do I mean by that? Is when the immune system starts seeing the virus, one of the first things that happens, you have a major spike in antibodies to neutralize it. And it neutralizes in the transmission important area in the upper respiratory tract. So when you're coughing and sneezing, talking, yelling, breathing, whatever, you're already neutralizing the virus. So even if you somehow passing through the air that complex of antibodies with virus, it's not going to infect anybody. Now, the question is there a percentage of long COVID or just simply long-standing COVID patients who are still have active symptoms and not neutralizing the virus? The answer is possibly yes, but those cases are likely rare and probably clinically insignificant, because usually those patients would not be well. They would be quite sick. So I personally not worried about that. If anybody asks me about scenario like this, I say, look, unless the patient is super sick, I think you're fine to interact with such a person. Okay, Carol saying, I got a test at Tenley Branch Library. Huh. So it looks like DC may have still some kits. I know Maryland does not. That's good. So everybody run to DC, get your kits, because again, November is far away. Otherwise, just go and spend money and buy some. But you want to have kits at home all the time. It's just the common sense at the moment. Okay, Irene, good luck. Yeah, I don't, well, yeah, so Irene, here's what I would do for you. Shingles is the least concerning for the moment, because shingles is not related to the time of the year. So you should get a COVID first, then you should get flu, then you should get pneumonia, and only shingles last. The reason for that is this. If I knew you were at the super high risk for pneumonia or shingles, I would have changed that sequence. But because, personally for you, I know you, that is your sequence, because I'm not too worried about pneumonia and shingles in you for multiple reasons. But I'm worried statistically a lot more about COVID and flu. Your chances of getting COVID right now are pretty high. your chances of getting flu in this season are very high, simply because that's the case every year. The chances of getting pneumonia every year is much lower. The chances of getting shingles is even lower. The shingles never kills anybody, hence it's even not all that concerning. So is my time up? Is that what the point is?
Dude, your time done been up.
Oh, all right. So, okay, let me just screen. Love it. Let's look, they're so engaging today. I love it. Edward, thanks so much for coming back. Let me just screen real quick, make sure I don't miss anything. COVID test, how to make sure pharmacies are in fact. You ask. So you just basically say, I want single vial. If you're really all that concerned, just come in and say, show me the single vial. I don't think MFA offers single vial, but you can ask. Usually most patients don't go to MFA to get their COVID shots. So if you just go where you live nearby to CVS or Rite Aid or whatever, just ask. Just ask. They all have a single vial. I think MFA does have it. I think you have to request it. Whether they have it in stock when you come, I cannot guarantee you that. And thanks everybody. So reminder, I will not see you next week, but I will be in spirit with you. I'll send, how about this? I'll send Janet a couple of pictures from where I am so she can show you what's up with me.
Welcome, Edward.
Good afternoon, all. How's everyone doing? Janet, how much time do I have today?
Well, the hardcore people will stay if you go over. And then some people will have to leave because they gotta go. But right
No
now
worries.
you have until 3. If you go over until like 3:10 or something, that's fine.
Okay, because I have a class at 3. Well, I'll make it worthwhile. How is everyone doing? Stressful time, isn't it?
I'm doing great.
Right. So I guess I can get started. So why Tai Chi is the question. Why is Tai Chi important? What makes Tai Chi different from your regular calisthenics or workout sessions? Tai Chi is different because it slows you down. You get to feel what you're doing and it makes you present. And that way you minimize the potential risk of injury, right? We do a lot of things, but we don't really feel what we're doing because we're always in a hurry, we're always time stamped, and we got other things to do, blase, blase, blase. That creates tension in the body. Tai Chi is about balance, right? You go hard and you go soft, but the idea of Tai Chi is really softening the body, softening the mind, really. Back in the days when we had a lot of rustics, people working the farm, they were very tense, they're very sinewy and strong, and they need a way of releasing all that tension. This is how Tai Chi came about. It is a martial art, yes, and being a martial art that it is, in the times of war and battle, you have to have a calm mind. And the first way to calm the mind down is breathing. So let's do that. How do we calm ourselves down? How do we prepare ourselves for a task or a journey or a challenge? We always take a deep breath. So let's take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. By the way, it's beautiful out here. Inhale. Can you all hear me clearly? I just want to make sure. Can you hear me clearly, guys?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. All right. So let's take a deep breath. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Inhale, deep breaths. Exhale. Feel your lungs as in F-E-E-L, as you F-I-L-L, your lungs, right? So feel what's happening. Feel the lungs expand as you inhale. And as you exhale, you feel the release. All right? Continue breathing. Exhale. See how the body releases. So the release on the exhale is teaching us how to let go. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Calm your mind, settle down. If you're sitting, kind of sit up for me, don't lean back. Sit up. Kind of sit at the edge of your chair a little bit, where your sit bones are really on. You can feel your sit bones and your thighs are hanging down a little bit, so you can relax your legs. Bring your feet together, make them parallel, right? Since you're already sitting, your hip sockets open, your knees are obviously open, and if you relax enough, imagine your ankles opening up. So imagine your feet melting into the floor. As you breathe, inhale, breathe into your joints. Exhale, imagine you're breathing into your joints. Relax the shoulders. Hold your arms apart a little bit. Imagine you're holding eggs under your armpits. This allows the shoulder to drop, and you're pulling the shoulder softly to help it release, right? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So it's a little, I'm imagining I'm holding Cornish hen eggs underneath my armpits there. And this allows my shoulder to drop. Sink the chest in just a little bit and relax down. Breathe into your belly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Put your mind in your shoulders. Imagine the shoulders separating when you inhale, so you're filling in the space. As you exhale, it releases more. Do the same thing in your elbows. Imagine the elbow joint is separated, right? So you breathe into your elbow. And as you exhale and release, the elbow releases down a little bit more. And you do that in your wrists and your fingers, the joints, that is, right? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Do the same thing in your hips. As you inhale, imagine the space between your femur and the pelvis, right? The iliacus is opening up. So when you breathe in, it expands. And you exhale, it releases. At the same time, your muscles are softening up as well, right? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Do the same for your feet and the ankles. Inhale. Exhale. And now relax. Just loosen up the body for a while. And you feel yourself open up. I'm going to ruin what we just did to make it make sense. Let's clench your fist. Make a fist, guys. Squeeze as hard as you can. We're going to do this for a minute. The goal is 2 minutes, but let's do this for a minute. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Don't stop squeezing until I tell you to, okay? This is an experiment that I want you guys to feel. Squeeze. Squeeze as if this is the last orange thing that you had to make your juice, and you're squeezing all the juice and everything out of it, right? Continue to squeeze. Squeeze, I'm timing this. We're about 10 seconds in. Continue squeezing. Feel what's happening as you squeeze, right? You feel the tension build up through your fist. It's going down your wrists as well. Keep squeezing. Squeeze until your knuckles turn white or go wider. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. You're angry. Well, there's a lot to be angry about, but let's not go there. Keep squeezing. Squeeze. Squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep squeezing. See how the tension is creeping up your arm? Keep squeezing. Squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze. Keep squeezing. We're close to a minute. Keep squeezing. Now it's becoming painful, isn't it? Yeah? Keep squeezing. All right, stop squeezing. Make your fist, hold your fist. You feel the little pain there, guys? Now slowly open up your hand. See how stiff that is? Yes? Now wiggle the fingers. So that experiment was to show what tension does to the body. We don't want tension. It's uncomfortable, doesn't feel good, right? So that exercise we did earlier is why we want to loosen up the body and open up the body to feel where there's tension so we can release and let it go. So let's go back to breathing so we can loosen up the tension that we just created in the arm there. That hurt. Is this making sense? Yes? Yay, nay?
Yes, yes, yes.
I hope it does. All right, so let's go back to breathing. Inhale, expand the body. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, release down. Inhale. Exhale. So now what we're gonna do, continue breathing for me as I talk to you guys. We're gonna simulate the movement with our arms, right? So we'll keep the joints rounded. Don't lock your joints, always keep them rounded, right? Let me move this back so y'all can see. So here we are, we're sitting, right? So bring the hands in here. Imagine you're scooping energy from the ground and you're bringing it up. We'll be doing that in a few weeks when we're gathering leaves to clean the yard up. So the same type of motion, curve the spine, inhale, bring the hands up all the way to your shoulders, turn your hands around, exhale. Exhale and fan out. Curve, inhale, bring the energy in through the legs, up through the body, out, exhale, right? Curve, inhale, you're bringing the energy up. Imagine you're pulling the energy up your joints. Turn the hand out, exhale. We want to be soft. So soften up, relax the shoulders, inhale. Bring it up. Turn the hands out, exhale. And relax. So that was a soft stretch, right? Let's do the opposite. So we inhale, we bring in energy in over the body, and we pull it down, and we push out. Exhale, all right? Inhale, bring it in, we're pressing it down, and by your hips, you turn your hands around, push out. Continue with the circular movement. Inhale, so your hands are bringing the energy in, and it's bringing it down, and then here you're pushing it down as you're pulling down and fanning out underneath the ground, right? Dispersing the energy, and we're bringing it in above the head, right? Down and out, and relax. So we're syncing that movement with our breathing, and that's called Qigong, right? So the physical movement is moving energy back and forth through the body as it does move. But since we only have 2 arms and not 4, we can only break out the movements in the direction of how energy moves around us, right? We are just a conduit. Energy flows through us into the earth, and from the earth flows through us up into the heavens or the ether, whatever, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, ether-wise. So, do the exercise again. It's loosening up, right? Bring the energy in, pull in. Softly come up, soften your joints. Exhale, push the negative energy out. Breathe in, bring the energy in through the feet, up. Push the energy out and fan out. and relax, and bring the energy in above, bring the energy down. We're pulling it through the head, through the shoulders, tracing it down the body and shooting it out the legs. Right? Inhale, exhale, and relax. So, Tai Chi has a lot of circular movements because the world we live in is round, they say, right? Our muscles and sinews are attached in almost in circles, in spirals, in spheres. So all of the movements are circular movements, right? Even when we're dancing, we're turning, right? So let's massage the organs. So how do we massage the organs? Let's turn, twist, look all the way behind you. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Twist and turn the other way, nice and easy. Don't force anything. Look far behind you as you possibly can. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Twist the other way. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Twist the other way. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. All right, come back to the center. Sit tall. Lift the shoulders and lift to the side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's go to the other side. Open up the ribs so we can bring air into the lungs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And let's switch to the other side. Open up the ribs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time to the other side. Open up the ribs. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's sit up. Relax the shoulders. Now let's look down to the floor. Hunch over, stretch the spine. Hold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then sit back up by pressing your legs down. So we're stretching the spine open. Okay? One more time. Hunch over, look down, stretch the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Come back. Relax down. Take a deep breath. So here's what I want us to do. Stretch the hand out all the way. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Oh, now there's tension, right? Stretch. And relax. Relax your arms. Ah, that's what we want. Stretch out again. Stretch. Push your joints open. And relax the arms. Now relax the arms and push your joints open. Lengthen the body without locking your joints. Lengthen out, lengthen out, lengthen out, lengthen out, lengthen out. And pull the joints open. Softly pull, softly, and relax. Feel that? Can you feel what's going on? Feel what you're doing, guys. Very interesting stuff. So we're here. Same thing, we stretch out all the way, stretch, 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 stretch. You're creating tension there and relax. Relax the shoulders, bend the joints, curve the spine. Hold your hands out and you're still relaxed, right? And bring the hands down on your lap, right? Feel that, feel the release. Now bring your hands out, don't lock your joints out. Keep the arms slightly bent there, right? And open your joints. Push the joints open. Imagine you're hugging a redwood, one of those great giant trees, and you're hugging a tree, right? And relax. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now bring your hands down. You feel the release of the shoulder going down like, ooh, oh, that feels good. That's what we want, right? Now hang your hands down. Just hang your hands down. As if you have wet hands and somebody's passing you a towel, and just relax down. Now push your joints open. So hanging your arms down actually pulls the joint open. Gravity is pulling your arms open. Just relax, do nothing, right? Now pull your joints up. Keep the shoulders hanging, but pull your joints open. So you're pulling your joints up. So you pull your joints open. Push your joints open. Pull your joints open. And relax. Let's shake that loose. All right? Let's shake that loose. So now let's do this again. Let's hold the hands out. Just extend the fingers. Relax the shoulders. And with your mind, push the joints open. Pull the joints open. Push your joints open. Be very soft. Pull the joints open. We're pampering the body here, right? Push the joints open. Now let's sync that with our breath, right? So when we inhale, the joints are pushed open. And then when we exhale, we releasing the joints. No contraction there, just releasing. Inhale, push the joints open. Exhale and just release the joints. And bring the hands down. Right? Did anyone feel any movement internally, move back and forth as you did that exercise? Yeah, nay. Did anyone feel anything? No? Is anyone there? Is everyone there?
People feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah,
if it's not
I
Edward.
felt something. I
Yes,
felt
yes.
when we were breathing out, I felt my hands opening up, breathing out. When we were breathing back in, I felt, everything. I felt the movement in every breath.
Awesome. You guys have been doing that. I'm just here to help you connect the dots. That's it. You guys have been doing this. We've been doing this all our lives, but we never paid attention to what's happening inside of us, because movement always starts from inside before it becomes external. It's an idea.
Feel great relaxation.
Yes. It's an idea that comes first in the mind, and then the energy manifests in the body, and then the body executes the idea. Right? So let's do some more of that. And there's so much more.
I have one question for you about Qigong. Is Qigong just about breathing, learning to breathe and control your breath? Or is Qigong about a movement or something like Tai Chi? Is Qigong just about controlling and, playing around with your breath?
Qigong is actually in translation is energy work.
Okay.
So what is energy? I'll answer that for you. Energy is life force. What is life force? Your breath.
Yeah.
So the best analogy I came up with to explain what Qigong is, think of a cup of tea and you have your teaspoon. The teaspoon are your limbs. The tea in the cup, the tea is your energy, right? So when your limbs, when the teaspoon is stirring the tea is spinning around, that's your physical movement manifesting the energy. You're stirring up the energy inside of you, right?
Okay. Right.
So like a day you feel lethargic, you do a little workout, you jump around, then you feel great because now you juiced up the body, you've juiced up the energy, now you're good to go, right?
Right.
So that's the rudimental practice. That's what Qigong is. The ultimate training or practice is called Negong. Negong is the energy moving the body. So after you stir the tea, the momentum of the tea moving around in the cup moves the spoon around, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So the energy moves the spoon. So when we get it from doing Qigong, you reverse engineer the movement. So you're doing the physical movement to stir the energy up and you get it going. Then you say, I can relax the body and move the energy first to move the hand around. And it's a different quality of movement, which we can do. Think of your hose that has water running through it. If you don't control it, it's flipping around because all the energy of the water is coming out, making the hose do that. So that's what we're doing with energy since we're water-like, right? 80% of the body is fluid. So we're doing fluid-like movements. And another way to look at moving energy, think of your joints as valves that need to be open and closed. When your valves are closed, it causes tension because it's the impedance of your energy flow, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So if my joints are closed, and then in Chinese medicine, if there's lack of flow of energy, causes disease and then eventually pain. So when you have people who do acupressure or acupuncture, they releasing these energy, there things called energy gates and energy points in the body, which they activate to open so there'll be chi flow.
Because your
right?
energy is blocked up. Your energy is blocked, so you got to open it.
Right. So these type of movements help open. If you don't get a chance to go to acupuncturist or acupressurist, whatever, or get Reiki done or Qigong or let me say Reiki or Twinner, right? Energy work done. You can do it yourself. And these circular movements help to move the energy. And if you start opening up your joints, you start to activate those energetic points, which allows the body to bring about balance.
Okay.
Yin Yang symbol, staying in this line here, is Tai Chi. You're neither yin nor yang. Yang, you're too hard and unbearable. Nobody wants to deal with you. You're too yin, people run over you. And through life, we're trying to find that perfect balance to deal with folk. Right?
Right.
We're always trying to find a center. We're trying to find a place of balance, equanimity, especially when you're stuck in traffic. Woo! Always trying to find that woosa point so you don't get out your car and try to choke somebody for not driving properly, right? So we're always tapering between yin and yang, right? And that's the challenge in life. So those circular movements we were doing earlier, there's a yin aspect of it and there's a yang aspect of it, right? So if I am pushing with my backhand, right? If I'm pushing this way, I'm pressing this way, pushing this way, I'm energetically pulling as well. If I push my hand out, I'm pulling my shirt. You see that? If I press my shirt this way, going that way, there's a pull. If there's a string on this side, I'm pulling something towards me. If I'm pulling up, right? If I'm pulling something up, which is from here, I'm also pushing something up. If I'm pressing something down, I'm also pulling something down.
The yin and the yang.
There you go. Right? So let's go through that exercise one more time, guys, and then I'll answer any questions if you have any. All right? So let's go through that. With that being said, all right, here we go. Relax the shoulders, pull the energy up through the feet, open up the joints. Inhale. Turn your hand out so you can push the energy out. Exhale. Gather that floor and bring the energy up through your joints. Remember, we're keeping the valves open. And we're flushing the negative energy out on the exhale. We're replenishing by breathing in. Expel and remove by breathing out. All right. We are pulling our joints open. We're pulling the joints open on the inhale. Now we push the joints open on the exhale. All right. Pull. Relax, be soft, push out. Another language. Here, we closing because you're pulling in. And we're opening because you're pushing out. We don't want to close the joints. We can pull the joints in a little bit. And we push the joints open. And relax. Let's focus on the spine real quick because that affects your limbs. So pay attention to curve the spine forward just a little bit. And lift the spine up. Curve the spine. Feel what your legs are doing when you curve the spine. Lift the spine. Feel what your legs are doing when you lift. Curve the spine. It feels as if you're pulling the ground up, you're lifting your legs, even though you're not. Right? And lift the spine. It feels as if your legs are pressing into the earth, pushing the earth away. Right? Pull. Push. Relax. We do two more. Inhale as you pull in. Exhale as you push out. Inhale as you pull in. Exhale as you push out. Actually, let's reverse that. Inhale. As you go down, exhale. As you come back up, inhale. That's the reverse. Exhale, curve the spine. Inhale, open up the spine. Woohoo! Let's leave it there. Any questions for me, guys, before I go?
When do you come back?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to your class, you're gonna be late.
Yeah, I got a couple of minutes. Okay, but if that's that, I'll go ahead and bid you all a great adieu and have a great weekend.
All right.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Namaste.
Thank you, Edward. Don't worry,
Thank you.
guys. I'll reschedule Edward again if he'll be kind enough to come back.
Yes.
Edward,
Janet,
I would like to say that the Qigong and the breathing that we did is very beneficial to me today because it just calmed my whole everything down.
I did my job.
You did. I needed that today, and I loved it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. It's great news. But I'll keep you guys posted. I should be coming up with a workshop in about 2-3 weeks. I'll let you guys know. And we'll get into all that and explain it more, and I can go deeper into what we do. Mind you, Tai Chi can be done as a Qigong, but it's not a Qigong.
No, I do the Tai Chi every day, and I know it's not a Qigong, but I do a little bit of Qigong too, because I'm learning about it. I'm learning more through you, so thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having me. I gotta go. Take care.
All
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Get some sun.
You too, Edward.
Thank you.
All right. So Misha, come on back.
I'm here.
Okay. Say goodbye to the people.
Bye, everybody. But we have a couple of minutes if anybody have a
Yeah.
burning question, or I'll just stick around if you have you know how it is. I usually try to periodically, if you have anything personal and you want to, and especially if you're my patient, if you have a question or two. But
I have a question. I do Tai Chi in Chinatown.